Welcome to FanFriction. My name's Benjamin.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Gervais.
And today we're going to be talking about Gravity Falls and its fandom.
Beautiful.
So since this is the first episode, you might be asking, what is FanFriction? Well, FanFriction is essentially a podcast where we do a deep dive into all our favorite shows. More specifically, I dive into their fandoms, which is always a very interesting and unique community.
Taxing process.
It's a taxing process, to say the least, but it's
You're welcome.
It's a labor of love. So the way the podcast is going to work is we're basically going to cover what we think is unique about the fandom, why we picked it, as far as like what was interesting about covering it, and we are going to talk about the different aspects of the community, as far as like who's everybody shipping, which is like what relationships do they want to see, what kind of like canons are being created for fan fictions. I know you may be thinking, how much is there to talk about when it comes to that? Well, it turns out there's a whole lot of it. Like, we're talking like it can rival the content of the show. Like, it's a ton of stuff. So
you could using all the content created from one show, you could probably make you can make a Marvel extended universe.
You can make a Marvel. That's a good analogy.
That's what it is.
Honestly,
people make fan art of like fan
fiction
universes.
Yeah, there's like
fiction.
crossovers of fan. Well, anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But we're basically going to kind of start off each episode with a brief synopsis of the show that we picked, why we picked it, and then after that we're going to talk about the different parts of the actual like community, the forums, the Tumblrs, the Pinterests, the Instagrams, all that stuff. And then we're going to bring to the table some of the fan fictions that we picked individually and talk about them and just give a brief summary. And then we're going to pick our favorite one and we're going to kind of act it out. So,
it's going to be tight.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be so good. But to start, I guess we should talk about like why we picked Gravity Falls.
All right, let's why don't we dive a little into Gravity Falls. So, let me start by saying this. I think Gravity Falls is great. I think it's a good time. I think it's a really good show. Sorry, I have not finished it.
Me and Gervais.
It's pretty spotty.
Me, Ben, and Gervais. I guess we already said that, but me, Ben, Gervais. We've seen the show like several times. In fact, you can probably see it. There's journal number 3 right there on our coffee table.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Totally recommend reading it because it's actually really if you're watching the YouTube video,
it's a lot of insight.
Yeah, and that's another thing we didn't actually say in the beginning, and I want to clarify. This podcast is going to have a YouTube counterpart, which is basically the entirety of the podcast, but just on YouTube.
A companion video.
It's also going to have a companion video. So like the full podcast is going to be on YouTube and on Spotify, iTunes, all that other stuff. But we're also going to have a companion video where we show all the fan art that we found, including like web comics, animations, and just straight up fan art. Just in case you don't want to listen to the whole podcast and you just want to see that juicy fan art,
Yeah, that was my job. So
succulent fan art.
Yeah, but I totally recommend you guys listen to the podcast because we're working really hard on it. So
it's gonna be a good time.
And another thing, if you guys have any suggestions,
don't call me Tubby.
Don't call me Tubby.
Nah, you can call me Tubby.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to let us know because we're trying to make the best content we can. So anything we can do to improve. This is like we're fresh
off the press.
Fresh off the press. We're
hot off the presses.
Hot off the presses. So we picked we picked the fandom of Gravity Falls to start with because it is first of all, it's like a great show, right?
It's a good show. It's a really good show.
It's a really good show. And I don't know what you guys think, Sorry.
After you.
I was gonna say like I love the relationships of the show, and I think that's like probably the strongest point of the show is that it's got like probably the best like relationships that I've seen as far as
Very
like,
human.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
superhuman as far as like cartoons go.
Superhuman.
It's well written.
They're superhuman. But the show also has like a really unique relationship between fandom and creator in the
Mhm.
show. It's in fact there's puzzles that are literally littered throughout the entire series that are solved by the community that is a fan of Gravity Falls, and they make the show more immersive. So it's really cool. And honestly, and I'm just trying to be real, and I don't know if you guys feel this way, but like the fandom is pretty hilarious because there's like a really like serious like diehard fan portion, and then there's just like people who want to draw everybody doing all kinds of freaky stuff.
Everybody boning.
Everybody
So-
boning.
That's a little. So I like to, when we do fan fiction, we like to take the little sliver of every podcast or of every fandom,
Yeah.
and just
There
like
it is.
just peek out and find the unique things. And what's really interesting about this fandom is like
It's nasty.
it's just how nasty it can be.
It'd be real nasty.
It'd be nasty.
And
And
that's-
like sorry.
And that's a lot of fandoms, but this one's the show's complex and the fandoms are
Yeah.
complex and gross.
So but before
Complex and gross.
That's the thing.
yeah, just how like controversial it can get and like how much conflict there is even within the own, the community of the fandom. But also there is like we briefly mentioned just how much,
Content.
content there is being created by the fan fictions or for fan fictions, but like I want to like elaborate that it is like a fully thought out, fleshed out alternate universe like structured thing that we're talking about. Like
They interact.
they interact with each other.
There's rules to how they interact.
There are rules to writing the fan fiction, and it's like a show. It's like a completely separate show, and there's like more than I can count on my hands. An alternate
tesseract.
universe. There's a
AUs,
tesseract of
they call
AU.
them.
Of
They're called
AU.
AUs. They're called AUs.
Australia.
So,
Australia.
We're not.
If you're in the crowd.
Yeah. we're not like. I guess we're not trying to like be like. We're not trying to give like a research,
Mm.
thesis on this. We're just trying to talk about like the most interesting parts.
Having a good time.
Mhm.
And just kind of talk about like the parts that we think are really interesting to talk about with the audience.
Mhm.
It's fun.
It's definitely
It's
really
fun.
fun. We find ourselves talking about it just in real life, so we thought, why not make it a podcast? So
Mhm.
It's fun.
it's fun. I guess to start, we should probably give a.
I'm Sam.
We already did that. What are you
I thought that'd
What
be
are you
fun.
doing?
I'm charming.
You're so charming.
I'm so charming.
You're so bohemian. So I think we should really probably give a synopsis of the show. If you haven't seen the
Yeah.
show, spoilers.
Spoilers.
There's so many spoilers.
spoilers.
And we're not gonna really stop ourselves from talking about it.
Yeah.
If you haven't
so-
seen it,
Get spoiled.
lift the rock up that you've been under.
Mhm.
Oh,
Did you hear me get him?
You got him,
I
dude.
Lift that rock up that you've been under and watch it.
here's my thing. Here's
My
my
journal number 3.
Here's my little thing.
It's great.
Starting off the kids show. I love it. It's really good. It's a kids show though, so
Mhm.
just bear that in mind. It's gonna be kiddie. So
Well, I mean, not all the time.
Not all the time. It gets really.
Sometimes it's very like Disney animation. You know
It's
what I
on
mean?
Disney
I mean,
Channel.
It's technically
Disney
a
Channel
kid's show.
animation.
Exactly.
You know?
Just keep
Yeah.
that in mind when you watch it.
But
But
basically,
it's like adults and kids can watch it.
Highly recommend.
Definitely.
It's
Yeah,
like something
honestly.
I think that parents would actually enjoy watching with their kids.
yeah.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say, just to like give a synopsis. It's basically about two twins, the Pines twins, Mabel and Dipper Pines. They go to the town of Gravity Fall, to their grunkle, which is great uncle
Mhm.
Stan's mystery shack, which is like a tourist trap full of like cheesy,
The pepper
monster,
goats.
yeah, like cryptid, like Bigfoot, Mothman type
Chupacabra.
Attractions.
stuff. Yeah, attraction. This is a tourist trap.
Jackalope.
Jackalope,
Mhm.
stuff like that. Cryptids fits into it pretty well.
Yeah.
Mystery. It's called the Mystery Shack, and as it turns out, the town is actually full of literal weird, happenings.
Mhm.
Happens.
And so, and Dipper, one of the main twins, discovers this book that allows him to gain some insight into the mysteries of the town, and he goes into this journey of like discovering the mysteries of the town, and he then discovers
bunch of crazy
more about
stuff.
that. And I guess for context, like it should be known that like he's really interested in the authors of the journal that he's reading, which is one of those right there. And
Yeah.
again, spoilers, the author of the journal is actually the twin brother of his great uncle Stan, who's Stan Ford.
Oh.
Ford.
Stan Ford and Stan Lee.
Yep.
So that's a summary of the show. There is a interdimensional dream demon named Bill Cipher who kind of tries to hinder his progress as well as the progress of the other main characters.
He's the main
Oh.
antagonist.
He's the main antagonist.
And he's very snarky, and
He's like
Oh,
he wears like a
yeah.
little top
People
hat.
love it.
People
You're-
love him.
you're
He has
gonna
a cute little nickname.
get the full snarkiness in the fanfiction. So
They call him a
heads up.
Dorito
Dorito.
Because it's hilarious.
because it's like clever.
It's a triangle.
And then people thought, hey, if you've seen Steven Universe, Peridot, she's also a Dorito.
Mhm.
Or one of them's a tortilla chip, the other one's a Dorito. Or
Next
whatever.
fan friction.
That's the
Steven
next.
Universe.
I was thinking we should do like Danny Phantom or something. But
Yeah.
getting back to the synopsis of the show, they're fighting Bill. There's also some secondary antagonists for the two twins.
There's a
Mhm.
There's a
southern charming belle.
Pacifica Northwest, who's like the
Okay.
rich kid of the
Gideon.
town.
Oh, Gideon.
Gideon Gleeful. He's like he's like another person who's in on the mystery of the author. And
He's like a southern con man.
yeah, he's like a con man.
Yeah, that's honestly.
And then but like a little baby with like a cute little like what do you call it? Pompadour. I almost have one. Almost.
Almost.
It could
Getting
be
there.
bigger. And then there's Robbie V, who's like the secondary antagonist for one of the secondary antagonists for
Dip.
Dipper. Who, by the way, spoiler alert, his real name is Mason. Just letting you know.
Oh, yeah.
For real?
Yeah, his real name is Mason. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
His name is
Alex
his name.
Fish said so.
No,
Alex
it's in the
Mason?
book. It's in the book.
Yeah.
And Mason Pines, but they
Mason.
call him Dipper because he has
Because
the
of
dipper shaped.
Freemasons.
He has the dipper shaped birthmark
Honestly.
on his face.
It's, yeah.
I bet he's named after the
He's like
Freemasons.
Gucci Man with the
He
ice cream
is.
tattoo. Does he still have? Does Gucci Man still have?
Removed.
Weird. So there's Dipper,
Yeah.
Mabel,
Uh-huh.
Grunkle Stan,
Ford.
and then there's Grunkle Stanley and Stanford.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're all fighting Bill Cipher, basically, who kind of causes the apocalypse,
Yeah,
and then they stop him, which is good.
it's a good time.
Together.
Quick side note. There's an older love interest for Dipper called Wendy. She's
Yeah.
like 15.
Oh yeah,
And
how
he's
do we not
12.
talk about her?
Those are the actual ages. And throughout the show, it's like, oh, dude, this babe is so babing. But the show very forcefully
And he says
reinforces.
that in the show. Actually,
This
he
babe.
says this babe is so babin', and Mabel's like,
baby.
yeah, Mabel's like that.
Um, baby. And with that, yeah, she's too dang old for him, and the show's like, got it.
The fandom, however, was like, are you sure? Like, maybe we should draw it out
I
and see
think-
how it looks before we say no.
The show is like, we are just friends, and that's okay. And then the fandom's like,
But maybe you could be more than friends. Maybe you guys could do some like maybe
If
like
I was 15.
and we've all been there. We've all had like that older person in our life when we were young that we had a little crush on, and
Happens.
it happens. Like
With
But the show deals with it well.
the show deals with it really well. Fandom not so much.
but
Because
with
But
they
it's-
are currently dealing with it.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice too because there's kind of like a mentor aspect to it. He
Mhm.
really looks up to Wendy, and but
Yeah,
the
it's cool.
fandom is like
Nah, they just gotta
or
slam.
at least a portion of the fandom is like, yeah, let's make them like just, get at it. Like get really into it.
Gross.
Just like,
All right.
Oh,
sorry.
I think before
You first.
I also think before we start getting into the fan fictions, we should also say
Perfect.
to not harass anyone because we're gonna credit artists and
Yeah, we're gonna credit
authors.
everybody.
And
So-
tours.
So we do not condone harassment, so don't.
Yeah, like we're not
Do
trying to
it.
kink shame. Like there's a huge portion, and I get that. That
Or
sounds.
we're not
I know
trying to
it-
shame like kids that are just like
Expressing themselves.
Yeah, they're just kind of
going
expressing
through
themselves,
stuff.
and
You-
like
They're in junior high. We've
guys-
all been through it.
guys, we've all been through puberty. And
We've
like,
all been a bit sweaty.
we've all gotten a little like weeby at times, and like I know I have.
It,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You're either
I didn't mention.
Here we go.
I didn't think of this without taking that into account.
in junior high, you're either a metalhead, EDM dude, or you're a weeb, and that's fine. And you're probably gonna look back at it and vaguely
be like
like
hell
it.
yeah, I never made
Hell
a
yeah.
bad decision in my life.
No,
I knew
honestly.
exactly what I was getting myself into, and it was friggin' awesome.
Yeah, just
freaking
keep doing
great.
you.
It
You
was
won't regret
great.
it.
With that, also, please don't draw like underage children boning.
Yeah, please,
Yeah.
like honestly, like that's kind of like a portion of what is going to be discussed.
So
we're
don't
not.
hurt.
we're
Don't
not-
hunt them, but don't do it.
Yeah, you should,
Especially
we
if
don't
you're an
condone that.
adult.
I just want to say we're going to talk about that portion because you can't talk about the fandom of Gravity Falls without talking about it. But we want to say up front, like, that's going to be a topic. We're not going to really get super graphic or into it super
Yeah.
deeply, but
It's
we don't
just-
condone that. Like, you are drawing children,
It's a kid show.
and it's a kid
It's
show.
for children.
There's
It's a
going to be
kid's-
children
ultimately.
looking into that stuff, and if they see that kind of thing, they're gonna be really like
If
they
your
could be
DeviantArt,
really disturbed. And
if your DeviantArt pops up on Google Images, just guard that kid, dog.
yeah, and that's a huge part of the conflict of the fandom, like within itself, is that people really are kind of on the side of like, should we do this? And some people are like, yeah, let's try to be safer for kids. And some people are like, you know what, Rule 34, man, if it's going to be on the internet, we're just going to show all kinds of porn about it. And I'm not super into Rule 34 because I think those rules are dumb. And I think, if we're going to have this internet, let's try to be responsible about it. So, so there's that. So I think that's kind of like a good segue into talking about the shipping, right? Like the it's like the desire for two characters within the show to get together.
Yeah.
And they usually have like a relationship name. It's like short for shipping, which is what shipping is short for. And that can usually be like somebody X somebody, or it can be like a combo name, like
We got a few.
like Bill Dip or like something like that. Maybill, or like Wendy and Dipper would be Wendip. So that's
Dipley.
Dipley. Who's Dipley?
Wendy and Dip.
That's not really.
Mm.
That's good.
No, you're right. I shouldn't shoot you down.
But
I
there's-
stomped on your fantasy.
Mhm.
So when we're talking about ships, there's something you need to know. 4 of the main characters are related to each other, and people do ship them together, and that is Pinecest. That's what it's called. It's called Pinecest. It's a play on the word incest. It's nasty. I'm not a fan of it,
It's dumb.
but it's real.
It's a dumb name.
It's a dumb name.
Mhm.
And I think it kind of takes away from like just the good-hearted nature of the family. Like people take it like, the family in the show is really like nice, and there is a lot of conflict between them, and it kind of makes the show, but at the same time they love each other. And I think people take that to the point where it's incestual and it's kind of nasty.
They love each other so much
Yeah.
that they
That
want to
it-
smooch.
It
So-
has to be a relationship, the ultimate love.
Yeah.
You know?
So some of the relationship names for that is like Bill Dip, which is Bill. Oh, sorry, that's not really Pinecest. One of them is
Well.
like
Dipple.
Dipple. I guess that's, I don't know. I haven't seen that, but it's like
It's probably
Pinecest is what it's generally called. But there's also other names that I've seen that are called like it's like one Stappiness, which is a play on the Stanford and Stanley, and then the word happiness and pines. So that's the two great uncles. Because like nothing's more, nothing gets you going like two old brothers.
Old brothers.
You know what I'm
actual
saying?
brothers.
And then my personal favorite, which I think is the weirdest one, is Pan Pacific Pines, which is Mabel,
What is that one?
Dipper, Pacific Northwest, and sometimes Lindy. And I'm talking. This is like, and like, I don't encourage anybody to go look at this, but this is like, it's basically strictly for nasty, like we're talking like
For group stuff.
it's like group stuff. I don't want to get more into it than that, but it's essentially strictly for adults.
They really they just really push like the shipping limit with that
Yeah.
one. It's a lot.
So those are the ones that I wanted to talk about. I mean, what are you guys' takes on it? Like, obviously nobody's super into that, but it's kind of a deal. You know what I mean? It's like a thing. And like, you can't expect to do a podcast on fandoms without really running into this kind of thing, honestly.
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
If there's brother and sister, or
If
scratch
they
that,
exist,
siblings.
they should kiss.
Uh,
Am I right?
That's literally the motto
mm-hmm.
at this point, maybe.
Basically.
Anyway. I do have to say that my favorite shipping would have to be there's this old turd that loses his brains
Oh no.
up in Gravity Falls named McGucket.
Yeah.
And the old dude and him, or Ford and McGucket were partners way back in the day, and then he went a little awry, but basically they connect, and it's called Fiddle Ford.
Yeah, or Fit Author.
Fit Author.
Yeah.
I don't know how that.
Fit Author, because
yeah.
Stanford is the author of the books.
Fit Author.
I think that's a good name, honestly. It's probably, and it's like
It's a good one.
I can see why they would
It's a
do
bit of
that
a
one,
stretch.
because there's like some genuine camaraderie between those two, and I think a lot of people would be like, they see them being so nice and sweet to each other, and they're like, "You two want a bone, don't you?"
But they also had a
But-
falling out.
They do.
Yeah. If you've watched the show, you know that Ford was kind of definitely a dick to
And using him,
and using him to
Which is
fiddle Ford.
and that's just fuel for the sexual tension, really.
For the tension.
No, it's like that's like
No,
bad
it's definitely-
news.
It's definitely fuel for the sexual tension. I think.
What about the AUs?
Oh wait! Gervais has to do her shit.
Oh,
Oh, my ship? Oh,
Favorite
I don't
ship?
really know what my favorite ship is, but I'm trying to think. A ship we didn't mention that I think is
Yeah.
worth mentioning is next to Pinecess. I'd say
Yeah,
the second most popular would be Bill Dip, or sometimes Bipper.
perfect.
Well, okay. So here's the distinguishing thing about Bill Dip, which is Bill, Cipher, and Dipper. It is not called Bipper because Bipper is the name that is given to Dipper when he is specifically possessed by Bill Cipher.
Yeah.
So
That happens in the show.
there's a
But-
lot of
but-
these kind of like conjunctions that that I think is what makes looking into fandoms interesting.
But
Not
there's
everybody might know.
also ships with specifically Bipper, where like it's
Oh, true.
Dipper possessed by Bill and somebody else.
Right. So Bill Dip is a thing, and there's also May Bill, and it's both kind of like this like what do you call it when there's like that syndrome where like the hostage becomes like in love with the hostage
Oh.
taker?
Shoot.
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm.
And it's kind of revolves around that. And like there's a whole alternate universe that's like a lot of the fan fictions are centered around called
Yeah.
that like revolve around that, and there's one specifically called Demonic Guardians.
I don't know much about this.
Well, I'm about to elaborate on my favorite ones. But Demonic Guardians revolves around Bill and this other Bill-like entity called I think it's Chad.
Chad,
I'm not mistaken.
I've seen a Will around a lot.
Will is the little Will is from another alternate universe who's the little like
Wow.
he's like the inverse of Bill who's like got superpowers. and he's a kid and he's a little bit of a baby. I'm not. I could be I could be mistaken.
I was just like, oh, it's
He's like the
sad
inverse
baby.
of Bill.
Okay,
It
we'll
gets
get more into that.
it gets really complicated though.
Like,
In just a second.
So yeah, that's kind of like Bill and both of the Pines twins, including Stanford occasionally. And sometimes I've seen like one thing on like Bill and Stanley, but it's not a lot. But it's mostly Bill and Dipper, Mabel, and Stanford.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else.
And it's worth mentioning that most of the time that people ship Bill and any of the Pine twins, he's usually in like a weird human form where he looks like looks like a he's like a black and yellow themed emo.
super
like,
scene.
Super scene. He's so scene.
Suit because he has to wear like a hat and cane.
And it's always super weeby anime. Like,
and since he has one eye, because his form is like the Illuminati pyramid eye, so he's just that.
One eye
his
is
human
always
form,
covered.
he either has an eye patch,
or he has like his hair covering one eye, so it's super scene.
or like some other very creative idea.
Yeah, some other variation of that.
Absolutely.
And that's a good. I think that's like a good. Like that leads into the other topic that we want to talk about, which is the alternate universes.
Yes.
Which are there's just so many that we don't have time to talk about all of them. But I was gonna kind of tell you guys, and I'm gonna pull up my computer here.
Or 6.
We found a good chunk for you.
Oh yeah. And I just want to say this: Tumblr is like dying, and it is the most broken ass site. It is like it is like Yahoo Answers, but of social media.
It's like really
it,
bad when it first came out too.
Yeah, and like at this point, like every time I try to log into it to like do this kind of thing, it's just a mess. Also, I just wanted to say we didn't really talk about this a lot, but a huge thing when it comes to like shipping in this show is shipping Stanford, the author, with Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. That is like the third biggest ship, and it's like
and
Stanley, and also Dipper and
something
Wirt.
Wirt.
Dipper and Wirt from Over the Garden Wall, but only when he's possessed by the beast.
And it's Bipper.
Which is a whole other canon.
Dipper possessed with the beast?
No, Wart possessed with the beast. This is a separate
Wart
show.
never got possessed with the beast.
I know, it's a complete like separate thing. So number 1, we have my favorite, Transcendence, the alternate universe where Bill fails at doing his apocalypse thing, like in the regular show. And he's dying, but instead of like dying the way he does in the show, he makes his last ditch effort to possess Dipper and kind of escape death. But he succeeds in possessing Dipper, but he doesn't succeed in fully doing it. And so what happens is Bill dies, but all of Bill's demonic powers are transferred to Dipper, who then becomes a immortal dream demon, who is transdimensional also. And essentially goes on to do all kinds of wacky adventures on his own. But his demon name is Alcor.
What?
Yeah, his demon name becomes Alcor.
What, Dippers?
Yeah.
Where did they get
that? Why?
I don't know. It's just his new identity.
Do I need to look up if that's actually a name?
And here's I have it right here. And another thing about this is that Dipper is the only one of these demons, because there's those other demons that can enter the physical plane because he was already human. It also says that everything in the world becomes magical because of this kind of event with the apocalypse and Dipper and Bill. And basically, it's super dangerous. And the demon Alcor, which was formerly Dipper, and Mabel, who becomes a cult bashing, like, basically, like, I don't know, like superhuman also. I mean, I don't want to say superhuman, but she takes on a new name called Mizar.
Okay.
And it's just
she gets powers.
there's
too.
like it's like the
Everyone.
biggest. It's the biggest of the AUs. There's like themes of it's like picture this. It's like what was the name of that Bright with Will Smith?
Yeah.
It's like Bright, but Gravity Falls and Dipper becomes a demon, and there's like prejudice against non-humans. Dipper becomes Alcor for thousands and thousands of years. There's angels. It's like basically a completely different show. So that's Transcendence.
It's good.
Another one of the AUs that is my favorite is the Demonic Guardians AUs, which we covered briefly before, where basically demons can have one human that if they bond with and protect will make the demon stronger. But there's a catch though. If the human dies, a part of the demon does too. So it's like if the human dies, you like lose your bond to him.
It's like
and it's very build dip. It's like super build dip.
Have you ever heard of Death Note?
It's like Death Note.
But the problem with that is like humans are like guaranteed death.
Yeah.
So it's like, why even make the deal?
Well, and honestly, that's like a huge thing in the actual Demonic Guardian.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is. So the stronger the bond between the demon and the human, the more damage is inflicted on the demon when the human dies. Not all humans have a demon, and not all demons have a human. A bunch of the cast of Gravity Falls have Demonic Guardians. Each character having a different one with a different level of bond. The stronger the bond, the more strong the demon, like I said. But also the stronger the character. So like Mabel will have like strength too from that. Bill Cipher is Dipper's guardian, and Mabel has this guy named Dot Matrix, which is it used to be sorry, and I said Chad earlier, but it's actually Tad Strange, but I guess they changed the name to Dot Matrix.
Why?
I don't know. But he's like a square with a bowler hat. He's like blue.
What a square.
Yeah, Gideon's is this guy named Kryptos.
Okay.
Which is the star on his tent. Stanley has Pymo, which looks like a coin. Pacifica has the lumberjack ghost from the episode.
No
yeah,
way.
I don't know. And there's just like a whole lot of other fan-made demons, as it says here. And I wanted a real quick credit for the Demonic Guardians AU. The source that I used for this was Kids and Demons, the blog on Tumblr, Kids and Demons. And I got this whole like list from a blog called All the Knowledge. The name is so long I can't even read all of it.
Ooh.
Well, it's on Tumblr.
Ooh.
It's All the Knowledge. I think it's All the Knowledge I Need. And for the Transcendence AU, the source is the blog on Tumblr, Transcendence AU. So it's
There
Gravity
you go.
Falls, Transcendence AU. So that's Demonic Guardians. Any thoughts so far, you guys? Any?
Well, I've noticed.
I got lost in the sauce.
The sauce is deep, dude. The sauce is rich. and
I
creamy.
just like dipped my toes in and I was like, no, thank you. I'll just
Watch the
look through images and not understand the plot at all.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that AUs mostly they don't.
Oh, you know what?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
They relate to the story in one way or another,
Yeah.
but they mostly could probably just be their own story, and that's what I don't get. It's like, I'm fine with you being creative. Most of these creators are kids, probably.
Yeah, they're just kids.
You know, which is fine. I encourage kids being creative, but maybe they should make their own stories instead of just like.
Yeah, I mean, I try to write my own like short stories when I was
Just
younger. So
Yeah,
And
instead of inserting like their favorite characters.
yeah,
And like the truth is, like with how crazy their fan fictions get, it's like you can just like make new characters.
yeah, and
Mhm.
you know what they basically do? They just kind of reuse the names.
Either reuse the names or the personalities.
It says here that the Demonic Guardians AU guy made a Danny Phantom crossover with Gravity Falls
Oh, nice.
called "You Smell Like Death,"
Next,
and then an Over the Garden Wall crossover called Garden Falls.
Good.
Yeah, people are really into those two. And my third favorite AU, my favorite AU is Monster Falls, which is it is
Monster
It's the
High.
best. It's the best one.
it's basically Gravity Falls, except they're all monsters.
They're all monsters.
Who would have thought?
This is my favorite. So so Monster Falls is essentially everybody in Gravity Falls turns into some type of monster, as the name implies. But it's and I'm just gonna read you the synopsis here. Dipper finds a magic stream called the Fluvius Cantatus. Some stuff happens, and everyone in the town gets turned into monsters.
The scientific term. Some stuff happens.
Some stuff happens scientifically. Dipper's called a deer tar, which is a centaur except with a deer, and that's because of that's a reference to him doing being a lammy, being in the lamb costume.
There's
in the Inconvenience Store episode.
There's an episode where he wears a lamb costume
and he does a little lame dance.
Yeah, and his grandma liked it.
And it's just super doofy, but apparently everybody was like, "Oh, you know what? We should just make Dipper a freaking deer now." He's got a deer butt and little deer ears, and he just walks around like he's Bambi. Mabel's a mermaid because she fell in love with a mermaid in one episode named Mermando, which is already a pun on mermaids and Armando. It's just
Also, deer per. It's like so.
It's there were
Mermabel or whatever.
Yeah, they refer to Dipper as deer per and Mermabel.
I don't.
Wendy's a werewolf.
It's
and I don't know why.
W's.
I guess the W. Yeah, the W's. Gotta get them dubs.
Alliteration.
Stanley's a gargoyle and Stanford's a sphinx, because I guess it's like the two. It's like the like yin and yang of like buff old grandpas with wings. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They gave up with the alliteration a little bit.
They gave up with it pretty hard. Gideon's a vampire, I guess, because he's super pale. I thought Robbie should have been a vampire. Robbie's a zombie, but that makes more sense because he lives near the graveyard
and he's lethargic.
Because he's a dirty teen. Seuss is a clay homunculus / golem.
Oh, interesting.
And
very specific.
Yeah, I guess that's a reference to
like
him in the episode where they do the claymation.
Like really specifically.
Yeah. And I don't know why. Pacifica's a gorgon, she's like basically Medusa.
Yeah, makes sense.
Bill's a human.
Weird.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
He's human-like, I should say.
Humanish.
This AU is mostly fan art, and it says here, and fan fiction. Sometimes the monsters that a character is turned into is different, but this list is like the most common list. So that's Monster Falls.
Now
that was my favorite because like there's so much like Dipper and like dude, there's like shipping between Deerper, so like, and Bill Cipher, which is Bill Dip we referred to earlier, but Bill Cipher is a human and Dipper is a deer person, and it's just as like sexual as every other fan fiction that people write over those two.
But
except Dipper's a freaking deer. He's a freaking deer person.
That's some.
I'm also sorry.
He's got a deer butt.
Furry shit.
It's like some furry shit. And I'm not trying to hate on furries, but like, it's heavy furry. Like it's heavy. There's some yiffing going on.
I've seen a lot of.
Shout out to Yiffers.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
My Yipper cards.
Dude, Yipper cards.
Yipper cards.
We're gonna have to do a KND Kids Next Door fan friction.
No.
Oh, bro.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, that's setting up disaster.
No. Yes.
Okay, so so that's the AUs basically.
Yeah.
So that's that on the AUs.
No reverse falls?
Well, okay, there's other ones. Like there's reverse falls, there's anti-gravity falls. Reverse falls is basically where all the roles have been swapped and the personalities have been swapped. So Gideon and Pacifica are good, and Dipper and Mabel are evil. Relativity falls. This is where there's an age / generation swap. Stanley and Stanford go to spend the summer with their great aunt Mabel and their great and then Dipper is the author and all that kind of stuff. And like basically Bud and Pacifica are Bud Gleeful and Gideon are Switch, Pacifica and Preston are Switch. You know, it's an age swap, but it's like more like the generations, like kids and adults, not like Dipper and Wendy kind of a thing. But that's a thing, which is Anti-Gravity Falls, which is Mabel and Dipper are teenagers and they work for Uncle Stan, and Seuss and Wendy are kids and they just switch. And I feel like that's somebody's like angsty like fan fiction AU where they were like, how dare Wendy reject Dipper just because he's a kid? I'll switch the roles and see how she feels about it. And Wendy's just like, oh, Dipper, you're so cool and handsome. You're a teenage boy and I'm a 12-year-old girl. It's just super weird.
That's usually how it goes, but it's just kind of weird, eh?
Yeah, and then there's Reunion Falls where Dipper and Mabel were separated at birth. Only Child AU. Oh, this one's horrible. Mabel is a stillborn. And
what?
Dipper is an only child.
No!
It's really sad.
What?
Oh my god.
Why?
I don't know. Fright Falls, which is like Mabel's a vampire. I guess this is a reference to Friday.
Oh, hell
Fright
yeah,
Night?
I've seen
Fright
that
Night?
one.
Dipper gets turned into a werewolf. Mabel's a vampire.
Beautiful.
There's adventures. Immortal Pines. The Immortal Pines is a comic where Bill kills Mabel and Dipper, but then he didn't want to kill them. Bill was like setting up this weird plan where he saves their lives because he secretly loved them, and he saves their lives by keeping them in the mindscape and sacrificing himself. But then Dipper and Mabel gain all these mindscape powers. It's another one where they become sort of demons.
It's like Transcendence.
They each get like it's like they each get like one of the Bill eyes. They get one of the eyes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then they kind of reanimate Bill.
There's so many.
And I guess that's kind of was his plan. And then there's Twin Demons, which I'm just gonna go right past that. If you're interested in, check it out. Yeah, there's just a lot of them. Gravity Rises is another swap one. Mabel is Pine Tree instead of Dipper. So Mabel is the like Detective-y one who's like really into like all the like mysteries, and then Dipper is like the creative Shooting Star one, which is like what. So Shooting Star and Pine Tree are what Dipper and Mabel are referred to by Bill Cipher in the show. And so their roles are swapped. Mabel is like a mystery solving, like, you know, detective-y, more
Mabel's
focused on
serious,
books
Dipper's
and stuff
not.
like that. Yeah, Mabel's serious, Dipper's not serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just guys, I'm looking through this.
So
there's
many.
so many. Like
I'm sorry.
I'm scrolling up through this.
I think
Look
we've
through the
got
AUs
to
if you
enough.
got-
Look through the AUs if you have a chance. Okay, so let's read some fan fiction.
Time
We
to
each
get
picked
it.
one. We each picked one, and we're going to tell what we picked, and then we're gonna talk about which one we want to act out.
Time to
I'm so
do
excited.
what the podcast is named after.
Yeah.
Check it out, y'all. I'm gonna be the fan fiction guy. All right. Just want to start off with mine. It's called I Love Him. I love him.
Can you
That's
tell me
good.
one more time?
I love him.
Who is he?
I like the
Tell us
dedication.
about it.
You're gonna love this one.
Who do you love?
You're gonna love this one.
Who do you love?
Ford calls to his brother to help with the journal, but has
Oh my god.
been pinning for
Pining.
him too.
Pining.
But pining? Oh, right.
Did they misspell it?
No, it's-
Yeah.
Oh god.
Sorry. I'm going to read this exactly how it's typed. Ford calls his brother to help with the journal, but has been pinning for him too. A case of mistaken identity winds up getting Stan laid.
Oh my god.
By his brother?
Oh my god.
Question mark?
No.
That's mine.
I don't want to read that.
I'm talking about Old Man Pine Size.
No.
Bam!
Oh, man.
Okay, let me read mine.
Round two.
What's it rated? Do you know?
No, let me read mine.
M.
No.
Gross.
For literally madult. Or
Madult.
mature.
Thank you. For adult. Okay, so that's that one. Mine, the one that I picked is called The Cursed Boy. Oh, and we should go ahead and just like comment on the author. The author for I Love Him was Succinct Disquisition.
Yes.
So that's the author.
On fanfiction.net, go check him out. Don't hate on him though.
Yeah, don't hate on him. Just
check him out.
We're just trying to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, having a good time.
The Cursed Boy is the one that I picked, and it's by Aragno Rock. And I think that's a play on Ragnarok, but
it is
Aragno space rock. So a different outcome for Weird Mageddon leads to one boy's suffering. Now, if only his love life was simple too. Pinecest plus Pacifica? Rated M for possible gore, lemons, strong language, and other related theme.
Lemons.
Are you sure that it's not rated M for the frickin' Pinecest, dude? Anyway, then he just says a bunch of words with like exclamation points in the summary. It's like possessed, powerful, slow, loss of sanity, and then it just says Dipper. Dipper period. Rated M. The tags are angst and romance
from adult.
There's 2 chapters and somebody wrote 3,000 words of this.
Some lemon-scented pine soul.
Yeah, so basically, there's a different outcome for Weird Mageddon, and there's like a weird love triangle between Dipper, Mabel, and Pacifica. I'm guessing since there's Pinecest.
Let me chime in. Weird Mageddon. So basically, Bill gets out and he can start doing actual stuff.
In the real world.
In the real world, and that's the apocalypse. They call it Weird Mageddon.
That's the end of the show.
That's basically the end of the show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And it's like stopping Bill. We kind of touched on it earlier, but it's what it's called.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was mine, and here you go, babe.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, here you go, Joyce.
Get it.
Okay.
Gotta get it.
Mine's called
Buddy.
Triangulated. I think it's just called Triangulated. Oh no, it's called Potion Triangulated.
Potion Triangulated?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
By Rock Sunner.
By Rock Sunner. And it doesn't really have a summary, but I skimmed through most of it, so I know the basic plot. And in one episode of Gravity Falls, there's a love god / aka Cupid.
Cupid
He
is in the
He
show.
potions.
Guy love potions.
And in that episode, Mabel is trying to hook up these 2 characters, Robbie and this other emo girl. And in this version, it doesn't work out. Love potion gets everywhere, specifically on Mabel.
Everywhere.
Oh, great. Real good setup.
Mabel, her friend, Grenda.
My favorite character.
Grenda! I can't do a good
Grenda!
That's her voice.
That was a good Grenda.
Right there, which is...
Boys! Boys! We're boys!
You're so good at her voice, that's why I chose like a Grenda...
themed fanfiction. Good. Real great.
But it doesn't end there, because it's Mabel, Grenda, Pacifica.
Oh,
wow.
Geez.
And then a separate ship later on.
For real?
I don't know if I should spoil it though, because it's like later.
Spoil it, because we want to vote.
It's Candy and Dipper.
Oh.
They just slide it in there.
Dip.
Can Dip.
Can Dip is what that's
It's a
called.
cute one.
They actually kind of explore that in the show in the episode Roadside Attractions. And
wow.
Yeah, and Dipper just comes off like a wiener. They just make
Yeah.
Dipper a wiener, and, and Candy's
pretty
just
funny.
like, "Fuck you, Dipper."
Yeah.
It's
But
pretty.
in
It's
this
a good
one,
one.
you know, love potions, so
Yeah.
they have no choice.
All right. So what do you guys think? What are you voting? I'm voting for. Let me see.
Well, okay, so we're not.
This one, honestly, the thing about Gervais is that it's set up pretty well for reading.
Is it?
Vote.
I'm okay.
Let's vote.
Well.
I'm voting on Potion Triangulated.
Me too.
Oh, did I choose a good one?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yours is the best one.
I
honestly.
I feel like I feel like people do want to see some old grandpa's boning. Or
Do you want to
hear
see
that.
grandpa's boning, or you want to see like twins boning? Check out the other ones we mentioned.
Comment, like, and subscribe, and maybe we'll definitely not do that. Are you kidding
In our
me? What's
other
wrong
video.
with you? Fuck, you want me to talk about some old guys just like
Well,
brothers getting down up in it?
In our
No.
other video, I
That'd
did
be
throw
okay.
in all kinds of fan art, and there are
Yeah,
some
well,
old men in there.
You're gonna have to check out the video.
Old man.
The companion video. Okay, so let's do Potion Triangulated then.
Okay.
By once again, Potion Triangulated by Rock Sunner.
Now, I'm
This
not
has got
sure.
8 faves, 3 follows, and it's about humor, romance, and the human condition.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Okay,
I'm not sure who all the characters are, so
I'll set this down right here.
I
so
don't
we
know
can
how
just,
you guys want to go
check
about
it out.
this.
Um,
Since this is our first
here, let me
take,
look.
first go at this.
Yeah, first go, first take,
but
first go.
Sammy
We'll
is
get into
definitely
one.
Grenda.
I'm Grenda.
I don't know.
Grenda, Mabel, Pacific.
Pacifica.
You want to be Pacific, or would you rather?
I have a natural valley girl. I
Sky.
can do a good valley.
Oh
girl.
God! Oh, I'm already reading this, and it's just too much. Okay,
Get it.
let's just get into it. Okay, here we go.
So it's
Should
3 pages. So
I'll read a little bit to begin with. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly read through Mabel's parts until other characters start to show up.
Yeah.
Okay. Robbie took a closer look at the potion of chili fries in front of him. Pink stuff? Must be some sort of mold. This is a new low for Greasy's Diner, which is the diner from Gravity Falls. And the pink stuff is the love potion from the Love God. Me too, said Tambry, getting up from her seat and continuing her status update on her phone.
Beautiful.
Wait, said Mabel, running out from behind the counter. Please try them, just a nibble. I promise they'll make you feel a lot better. I've got a great Mabel impression, as you guys can
Great
see.
little
What do you
girl
guys think?
voice.
Yeah. That's my little girl voice. So it was you who dumped the pink junk on my food, said Robbie, trying to make it all cute for the blind date you set up. I guess I should have known not to trust a pine.
A pine.
Sorry, Mabel. It's just not gonna work, said Tambry. Robbie and I are so not happening. Oh, man, I am not good at voices. Mabel looked down at the floor, discouraged by the failure of her matchmaking attempt, even with the help of a potion from the Love God. Oh, and then...
Oh, here. Oh, God. Here I go.
Here's your
Here you
Grenda.
go.
Bring the
Here.
Grenda on.
you need to warm up.
Channel your inner Grenda.
I'll try those fries, Mabel.
Said a familiar deep voice.
Mabel looked up at the saw that Grenda had entered. Mabel looked up and saw that Grenda had entered the diner while she was preoccupied. Candy wasn't with her today. Grenda glommed a handful of fries and stuffed them into her mouth. Wait, cried Mabel. But it was too late. Quickly, Mabel pulled off her sweater and threw it over Grenda's head. Fortunately for her modesty, she had another sweater underneath. Her rainbow prism one.
That's weird.
Which is Pink Floyd. That's the Pink
Oh,
Floyd.
I see.
Oh my God.
Right.
What a
That's
nerd.
There was a love potion on those fries. Don't look at anyone or you'll fall in love with them.
Beautiful.
Mm.
All right.
Huh?
Said Grenda.
Love? Mabel, are you flirting with me? That's really nice.
Oh God.
Did we mention that Grenda's Mabel's friend in the show?
Grenda's
Yeah.
Mabel's friend, and that's how
Yeah.
she talks, dog.
Yep. Anyway.
Boys!
She's just like screaming about boys all the time. No, Mabel said. Hurry, we've got to get you to Dipper at the Mystery Shack. He'll find something in his book to take the love spell off of you. I hope. And then Grenda giggled.
You want me to go home with you blindfolded? Sure!
That was good.
Mabel hustled Grenda out the door onto the sidewalk. Just a second, Grenda. I have to dispose of the extra fries before they do any more damage. Mabel turned back and carefully picked up the paper container of fries by its corner and got it into the trash without touching any of the potion. While she was gone, Grenda groped forward.
Mabel, Don't leave me here alone!
It's
Mabel!
so good every time.
Mabel, don't leave me in this dark prison! The darkness! It envelops me!
Sorry. Grenda's right hand, still sticky with pink sauce from the fries, touched someone passing by on the sidewalk.
Hey. I'm sorry.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey, you groped me.
Jesus.
No.
No, that's really good.
Hey, you got your pink mess on my white blouse, said... Oh, wait.
Said Pacifica Northwest.
Who do you think you are? And where have you been all my life?
Oh my god. Pacifica, no, said Mabel. She pushed between Grenda and Pacifica.
There you are, Mabel!
Cried Grenda.
I hear you!
She hugged Mabel from behind, getting potion on her as well. Mabel was looking at Pacifica, and she felt a surge of feelings well up. Why hadn't she realized it before? Pacifica was perfect for her. Pacifica reached around Mabel and pulled the sweater off of Grenda's face.
Grenda, it's you. All of a sudden, you got a lot more likable,
That's real genuine.
said Pacifica.
That's how people talk, you know?
Out of my way, hobo Mabel. I've got to talk to Grenda.
Stop teasing me, Pacifica!
Said Grenda.
I don't like you! I never did! But I like you, Mabel! A huge, huge bunch!
I gotta get away from you because I don't want it to just be screaming into the mic.
How did they record
I don't
this?
know, dude. Alex Hirsch has talked about how his voice is just just Swiss cheese after. Mabel looked at them both. Pacifica glared at her and turned to Grenda with a look of adoration. Grenda looked at Mabel with eyes of longing. What have I done? Said Mabel. I've turned us into a tragic love triangle.
Oh.
Because that's I think whenever you encounter yourself, whenever you encounter this type of situation in your life, there's nothing better than to just call it what it is.
Yeah.
A tragic love triangle. All right.
Chapter 2.
Chapter
Circle of
Deucey.
pain.
Mabel asked, Pacifica, can't you like me just a little? I mean, after our golf game. Pacifica said,
I thought I was warming up to you a little, but not anymore. You're a rival for Grenda, and I hate you. Anyway, you cheated in that game and put me in danger. I don't remember how, but I'm sure you did.
I said I was sorry and gave you a sticker, said Mabel. And taco. And a taco, because she gave her a taco.
And a taco. Big deal.
Grenda said.
Mabel! We're friends!
But
I want us to be more!
Oh, God.
I think you feel the same deep down! Remember when I held you and we read Where a Wolfman Bear Chest novels together? You got all sweaty and stirred up?
Oh, my God. No.
Yeah, boy?
That was Dipper in my body, said Mabel.
Grenda, she's a nutcase,
Wowie.
said Pacifica.
Oh.
Look at me. You're so solid and real. A wonderful, earthy woman.
You're so crunchy.
I've never had a person like you in my life.
Break up! Because nobody could stand you!
Damn.
That was got him, dude.
Got him.
Said Grenda.
okay.
That's you.
Oh, I can offer you so much more than Mabel can.
No.
I can.
No, you can't. Well, she's rich, dude. I don't know.
I can buy you anything you want. I can get everyone to stop bullying you as my friend you'll be with with the in crowd.
You were always the leader of the bullies!
Said Grenda.
Said Grenda to Pacifica.
I don't know what you're really up to right now, and I don't care! I don't trust you, and I don't like you! Mabel, let's get somewhere private.
Oh, jeez. You really pulled out your inner salient voice. Can't we all be friends? Asked Mabel. Please, what about a group hug?
With you? Don't make me laugh, said Pacifica.
With her? Forget it!
Said Grenda.
Mabel, I don't know why you're betraying your friends for this bully.
Oh, she was gonna say. She was gonna say.
Dude,
That would have made
12-year-olds
it
don't say-
rated M, though.
Maybe.
So.
We're gonna have to bleep all those out.
Mabel will be gone at the end of the summer, and you'll have a long-distance relationship, if that.
So sad.
I'm trying to, like, get her...
Yeah, if that.
If that,
Yeah,
said Pacifica.
Oh gosh.
In fact, once my parents... What? Once I get my parents to call her parents and tell them how she broke into a mini golf course in the middle of the night, they'll make her go home right away.
Yeah, like grammatically, this is
What?
a horrible mess, and I just wanted to say we're
Run
trying.
on
I'm having a good time reading it.
You wouldn't, said Mabel.
If you do anything like that against Mabel, I'll never speak to you again!
Said Grenda.
We're making ourselves miserable, said Mabel. I've got to come clean about something.
What? Said Pacifica. That you're a low-life bum?
Dang.
Dang.
She got, dude. I'm feeling it though. Okay. You're not going to like this, said Mabel.
I'm sure I won't.
Oh, I got him again. All right. Oh, God.
Go ahead! I don't think anything you could say could make me angry!
You're making me want to cough. All right. I put a love potion on some fries to help a guy I know get a girlfriend, because that's a thing you do.
That's the thing you do.
And it's also a thing that she actually did do.
Yeah.
On purpose.
By
She
purpose.
Grenda, you ate them and then got some of the potion of Pacifica and me. That's why we're in this mess.
Pacifica said, what?
Love potion. Whoever touches it falls instantly in love with the next person they see. Grenda with me, you with Grenda, and me with you.
So you're saying the way I'm feeling is because of some crazy drug that's going to wear off after a while? Asked Pacifica.
Alright, this one's
Oh.
interesting because it doesn't say who reads it.
I think it's me because it just makes sense.
Okay.
I don't think it'll wear off. It's not magic. It's some chemical. I got it from a real love god. It's not some chemical. A real love god, a cupid.
A Cupid.
Okay.
A cupid.
A
Good
Cupid.
writing.
I got
A
it. I
Cupid.
got it from a cupid. I got it from a cupid shuffle.
Get ready for everyone's mics.
Yeah.
Mabel!
Oh shit.
I don't know my feelings are real! I know my feelings are real!
Just existential Grenda.
I don't know what reality is! We could all be in a simulation!
Fuck.
I had them a little before today!
Oh.
They just got stronger is all!
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, okay. Plot twist. Grenda's been crushing on some Mabel.
I can't believe this. I opened my heart and now it turns out you were both just manipulating me with the date rape drugs.
With some roofies.
No.
I feel so sketched out by saying that part.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I had to say
But
it.
yeah, that's true.
So, I
I'm
mean,
vicariously feeling
this
sketched
whole
out. Alright. We didn't
deal.
mean to. Grenda just bumped blindly into you, but I was starting to like you on my own, too. I wanted us to be friends, and it's not a date rape drug.
Oh my God.
Said Mabel. Jesus.
Well, she said it, so.
Yeah, I just...
Oh my God.
Because of course, 12-year-olds know about date rape drugs.
Every
Oh, here we go.
12-year-old knows about it, so...
Is that me?
No,
Yeah,
that's me.
Do you
Yeah.
want me to? You want me to do it?
You can if you want to. It's
Okay,
not
she's
big-
like, if you take away someone's choice of consent, it's rape. I should knock you down and stomp all over you, said Pacifica. But I can't do that. I'm still in love with Grenda, damn it.
Damn it.
And that protects you from me.
Oh,
for the moment, said Pacifica.
All right.
this
We're
is
not.
a lot.
It's a little sketchy.
I
We're not.
didn't
let's
see
keep
that
going.
when I was
Let's
skimming
keep- okay.
over it.
Let's keep it going.
Let's
Alright.
keep this train going.
Just hang in there. We don't condone this kind of.
It's-
It's a love god potion.
It's like it wasn't such a sketchy thing in the show. It was just a love god potion. But like if you think about it, I mean, it's kind of like
I mean, I
I
guess
can,
it is.
It's kind of true, but like I don't know.
It's a kid's show.
It's a kid's show. Why
It's
do you
a
have to
kid's
take it
show.
to this place? I don't
Anyway,
know.
they don't say fuck. They don't say shit. They don't say like shit, fuck.
Yeah.
But they say date rape and rape.
It's a
So-
witty observation.
But
by
they'll
this
say,
"Damn it."
author.
I guess honestly though, like that's a little bit of a hole from the show that I didn't even think about. This fanfic is ruining my reality.
So we're having a good time.
All
yeah.
right.
Where's me?
And then that's you right there.
Yeah, finally.
That's right! I'm protecting Mabel!
Said Granda, putting up her fist.
Oh, dude, she's gonna throw down.
Throw down.
There's a way out of this, said Mabel. The love god has an anti-love potion. We have to get it from him.
You mean steal it?
Well, I sort of stole the first potion too, said Mabel. But I gave him a squirrel as payment. Some low, so random stuff.
Lol.
That's you.
Oh,
I don't want out!
said Granda.
We're friends, and that means I still have a chance with you. But you, for sure, need to end your feelings with Pacifica!
And I need you, and I need to end my love for you,
Oh my
said
God.
Pacifica.
Oh, God.
I wish it was real, but you'll never love me back.
So let's go to the Woodstock concert and
Woodstick.
get Woodstick concert and
Don't
get
get
that
copyrighted.
anti-love get copyrighted by freaking
My
Woodstock.
Okay.
So let's go to the Woodstick concert and get the anti-love potion, said Mabel. All for one.
And none for all.
Oh, the
said
sass.
Pacifica.
The sass level is just
I'm trying.
it's coming at me. Okay. When Mabel didn't show up at Thompson's garage, Wendy and the gang decided that Mabel was embarrassed by the failed blind date between Tambry and Robbie and went on without her. Mabel, Pacifica, and Grenda went to the concert by themselves. Pacifica bought the tickets.
It's worth it to get the anti-love and be free.
Free from my prison of love.
Said Pacifica. Mabel, you go first to take the potion. You can be the guinea pig to see if there's any side effects.
Please don't call me a pig, said Mabel.
A girl is known by the company she keeps, said Pacifica.
Dissing on the pig, dude.
I knew you were going to insult me sooner or later!
Said Granda.
Sorry, Grenda. I didn't mean you. I meant her pet, Wiggles.
It's Waddles, said Mabel.
Whatever.
They sneaked up on the van of the love god. Love god, sound check for the love god, called a roadie. The love god rolled out of the back of the van. Let's make some miracles happen, groupies. Bedhead me. Oh.
Fuck.
Tyler, the biker, and a woman Mabel didn't know tussled the rock star's hair. He staggered away with them, saying, The love god's about to get crazy. Now's our chance, said Mabel. They ran for the open back of the van, where a string of potion bottles had been left behind. Mabel picked them up. Let's see. Puppy love? Interspecies love? Love of country music? Ew? You say ew to love of country music?
Dude, here's the thing. Here's the
But
thing.
you don't say ew to interspecies love.
Here's the
You
thing.
know.
I like all forms of music except rap and country. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, boy. It's an original
An
thought.
original thought by Sammy Gonzalez. Okay. Here it is. Anti-love. To reverse effects of love potion, simply spray on your victim and watch their heart die on the inside. Okay.
Tight.
Their heart dies on the inside, said Pacifica. I don't like the sound of that.
It must be a figure of speech, said Mabel.
Mabel, you go first, said Pacifica. But let's get away from the van.
But when they turned around, the love god was standing behind them. Hey, you're the one who's been stealing my stuff, he said. Ugh, I'm not loving this. Real good, real good. I'm sorry, said Mabel, but I made a mistake and I have to fix it. Kid, like I told you, this stuff's way too dangerous. On my oath as a god, I cannot let you. Hey, where did they go? Pacifica, Grenda, and Mabel ran between the booths. When the love god was gaining on Mabel, she tossed the bottle to Grenda. They ran onto the stage of the Handlebar Brothers, then escaped by crowd surfing the audience.
Oh, it's like the show.
Thank you, Mabel called out. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, they're touching everything, said Pacifica.
Oh.
That's what makes it fun!
Oh, dude. What?
Tight.
The glove god followed by crowd surfing too, high-fiving and giving out autograph photos as he went.
He gave out cassettes.
He gave out cassettes, yeah.
Cassettes, dude.
Here we go, said Mabel, attaching a spray bottle top to the anti-love potion. One good shot and I'll be fixed. The love god flew above them on tiny wings and landed in front of them. You leave me no choice. Visions of heartbreak pass. He threw down 3 bottles and Mabel was surrounded by the boys she had crushed on that summer. Norman, Mermando, Gabe, the several times clones, the boys she gave a rigged survey to, and even the image of Alexander Hamilton from the $10 bill. Pacifica punched through some of them.
You think we would fall for that?
Mabel was temporarily overwhelmed by the love potion magic and the images. You all want me to marry you?
Grenda called.
Mabel! It's a fake! Take the red pill! Take the black pill, dude!
Oh my god.
Hey, dudes! Drugs aren't cool!
That's my crime dog voice.
Just give us the bottle. Just this is Mermando. Just give us the bottle, Mabel, said the false Mermando. No, said Mabel, pushing out of the dream. Sorry, boys. Even though the girl I love doesn't want me, the potion he has made me realize I like girls more than guys. Okay.
Oh, yeah?
The potion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Good for you, girlfriend!
Said Grenda.
Oh, yeah.
But the momentary distraction had been enough. The love god flew above her and snatched back the bottle. I just want to say, I don't have anything against that. I just think that's bad writing, dude.
That's bad writing.
But what did I expect from this fan fiction, am I right?
FanFriction.
But the momentary distraction had been enough. The love god flew above her and snatched back the bottle. He landed and said, Sorry, kids. That's what happens when you mess with a god. Only a greater being from the heavens themselves could possibly stop. He stood frozen as a giant flaming balloon labeled I Eat Kids descended directly towards him. Grenda didn't notice this. She tackled the love god, intent on retrieving the bottle for Mabel so she could get free of Pacifica. Her weight and strength gave her sufficient power to shove him out of the way of the crashing balloon, and she rolled to her feet. You saved me, said the love god. You could have let me die, but you saved my life. You could have let me die. I could have embraced the sweet embrace of death. I long for it. So no, you could have let me die, but you saved my life. However you want.
Let us use the anti-love potion, said Pacifica.
Why would you want to use that? You would never be able to love again for the rest of your life. Oh, here we go.
Nice.
Oh, that wasn't in the show.
No, not that. But we got the love potion on us by mistake. I love Pacifica. She loves Grenda. And Grenda loves me. We're stuck in a love triangle. Is there anything else you can do?
Oh, you don't tell grown men that you're in a love triangle as 12-year-old girl.
What you need is more love, not less. I'm like going into like a surfer Brody.
He's
kinda.
a surfer, bro.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, he's more like a
he's supposed to be like a hipster, right?
woodsy boy.
Yeah.
What you need?
Like,
I haven't said hipster in forever.
Yeah.
I wear ankle bracelets.
That's true. What you need is more love, not less, said the love god. I have some menage a trois potion that would help.
Oh,
Nice,
Come
nice,
on, bro.
nice.
what is menage a trois?
That's
I forgot.
that's what they. That's
Three.
like
Three.
That's like the weird way of
Menage a
saying
trois.
threesome.
No.
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 Oh, Sammy, the genuine look of defeat on your face. He pulled out a small bottle labeled chloroform.
No.
I'm sorry. That's just what I'm.
Oh, you
Just
fucked
I'm
me.
just being evil.
Yeah.
That's what this does, said the love god. He flicked the potion onto them. Match made. Oh, jeez. Mabel felt her love expand to include Grenda. Then she saw Pacifica look at her tenderly, and her heart filled with happiness. About that group. Oh, here we go.
About that group hug, said Pacifica. I want it now.
Oh.
Me too!
They all hugged, reveling in the joy of it. Will we be in love like this forever? Mabel asked. This kind of arrangement can be tricky, but I gave you a good, strong dose, said the love god. If you treat each other reasonably well, all three of
Reasonably
you
well.
can
What?
stay in love as long as you live. Whee, said Mabel.
No.
This is fantastic, said Pacifica. I feel so lucky to have two such wonderful people in my life.
You said it!
said Grenda. Anything else I can do for you? Asked the love god. I was just thinking about my other BFF, Candy Chew, said Mabel. She's going to feel left out, but she and my brother Dipper would be a good match. Are they both here? Asked the love god. Is he just like,
Why did he
who do
get
you want?
so...
He's like, who do you want me to just like get together? Mabel,
right,
let me
here we
know.
go.
Are they both here?
They
They're just tying up loose ends.
let me just
Yeah.
say this really quick. Here's the thing about these fan fictions. They turn so radical so fast, and every character just 180s. It doesn't matter. There's no
I know.
cohesion. It's just
Yeah.
in the first part
It's
of this
just a little
chapter.
fantasy pool.
They were
they've
just
built for themselves.
In the first part of this chapter, they were just literally saying date rape drugs, and this is
Mhm.
rape, dog.
And now they're just like, hey, remember all that stuff we said? Just,
Fuck
We're
it.
in love now.
Yeah, we're in love now.
Can you just like throw
Can
that on
you
my brother
also-
and Candy?
Can you help us now that you're not chasing us?
Also,
guess.
in the
Alright.
show,
Yeah.
you know, it's Mabel's like, I think these two people would be a good match, and the whole lesson is like, don't do that.
Yeah.
And she's just like, after all these shenanigans, she's just doing that again, and Love God's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I guess the justification is that
guys-
Grenda saved her life, I guess.
Brenda saved her
Or
life.
saved his life.
Saved her life. Brenda.
Mabel said, I saw Dip around. I'll call Candy and invite her. Pacifica, would you be a dear and buy her a ticket too?
Anything for you, said Pacifica.
When Candy arrived, Mabel and Grenda steered her close to Dipper. The love god gave them a zap. Match made! And Candy and Dipper moved together and talked, while the trio gave them some privacy. Eventually, the pair walked over to them. Dipper said, Hi! I'm trying to be like a 12-year-old boy. Hi! Candy and I have decided to go out together. That's like my best squeaky, voice-breaking voice.
I want to
That's
be
good.
Candy.
All right. Congratulations, bro, said Mabel. You have a good catch there.
So have I. That's how Candy talks.
Yeah, said Candy, blushing.
He is so cute and brainy.
That was good.
That's really great. I think I have the worst impressions. I have news too, said Mabel. Pacifica, Grenda, and I are dating.
Oh shit.
The three of them linked arms and smiled at each other. What? Said Dipper. Like, have you all gone insane?
Fuck.
Yep. Crazy in love. That's us, said Mabel. This is just like, hey, bro, I'm a poly. Look at my poly girlfriends.
I'm a poly. I'm a polywaggle.
Polly
P.S.
Pocket here.
I used magic love potions to do this, which I used to think was date rape.
And we had yeah.
Yeah. I want to give you a good talking to, said Dipper. But that can wait. Candy and I are going for a long walk together in the woods. I have the worst impression.
No, it's
They're
good.
terrible.
Nah.
They're horrendous. Okay, anyway. Candy, before you go, I'd like to invite you to a celebration sleepover tonight at the Mystery Shack with Grenda, Pacifica, and me. Oh, man.
No.
Said Mabel.
I don't know.
That was
That's okay.
good.
That's good,
That was
Candy.
a good one.
Said Candy. She looked at Dipper. We'll find a way for the two of you to have some privacy, said Mabel. Seuss doesn't use his break room at night. Oh my
no.
god.
Seuss doesn't use his
I
break room at
accept,
night.
said Candy. If you agree, dear Dipper. That's how she talks, yeah.
Oh god.
Deeper?
Yes.
Deeper.
Yes, said Dipper with a grin. Yes. Yes, Candy. That's what he said.
Candy.
Yes, said Dipper with like a wild look in his eyes. He was starting to sweat. He looked at Candy now as a woman.
Put on that
And he
Gucci
could
mane.
no longer. I'm just kidding. None of this is in the fan fiction. I'm so sorry. The love god said, Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some concert singing to do. The love god is about to get crazy.
Oh,
He
tight.
ran off to get ready to go on stage.
to get crazy,
Let's listen
Get
to.
crazy.
Oh,
Let's listen to him together.
said Grenda.
I'm pretty sure he's not very good, said Mabel.
I suppose we owe him loyalty as satisfied customers, said Pacifica.
They stayed for the show and watched several other performances. As they were leaving the concert grounds, they ran into Robbie with a new girl at his side. Mabel, you were right. Your lame attempt to get me dating again inspired me. It was time to move on. So I came out to the concert and I met Doreen here.
Oh,
We got to talking about our common taste in clothes and really hit it off.
Doreen's new.
Hi. Hey.
Hey!
She's like emo, so you gotta be like, hi.
Who's Doreen?
I don't know.
Yeah, they explain right here.
Oh, she don't. Oh,
Hi, said Doreen. She was the goth Seuss had met at the Edgy on Purpose store at the mall. The one that he wasn't sure was a guy or a girl. Thanks to you. That's such a weird, reference.
I know, right? It's just the hot topic chick, basically.
Thanks to
I
you.
don't even
I'm
remember.
happy, said Robbie with wonder in his voice. Match made, said Mabel softly to Pacifica and Grenda into their
Both
ears
of their
at
ears.
the same time.
They're Pauline.
splitting her voice into two directions. They walked on together with Pacifica in the middle. She had an arm around each of them.
I'll find a way to marry both of you when we're old enough, said Pacifica.
Oh shit.
Big love, said Mabel. big love.
Big love.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Mabel, guess what? We're going to marry Rich.
Holy shit.
I'm not so sure about Rich, said Pacifica. My parents will flip. They may disinherit me.
Oh.
Is that a word?
No.
They might
they're
disinherit
maybe.
me.
Abandon?
You two are worth it, though.
They won't like you dating girls, asked Mabel.
I've been out.
What? They're 12. They're 12.
They
They're
are 12.
They're 12.
I mean, I don't know. I guess we can't.
It's
I mean,
a new,
you can.
I don't know.
All right. Let me just say
It's
this.
a-
Let me just say
it's a new
this.
time.
You can come out of the closet. You can be 12. That's totally cool. But I mean, you can't f***ing do this. You can't do this. You can't f***ing.
All right. We're so close to the end. All right.
Sammy, I'm gonna have to bleep out all of that.
All
I'm
right.
gonna have to censor all of that. All right, just say your line, Jermaine.
I've been out of the closet with them for about a year, said Pacifica. They're all right with that. It's just, you're not the blue bloods at Northwest as Northwest is expected to settle down with.
Blue blood? That sounds cold, said Mabel. Brr. Oh, God.
Oh my god. I like hot-blooded women like you better anyways, said Pacifica.
Yeah, we're totally hot.
Let's go back to the Mystery Shack, said Mabel. This is going to be the best sleepover with my 2 girlfriends ever.
My 2
The
polywaggle girl.
And we
girlfriends.
made it.
And my brother Dipper and Candy boning in the closet.
Having a bone sesh.
Yep.
All right, y'all.
All right, guys. That was our rendition of Potion Triangulated.
I hope you guys don't regret your decision for voting for my choice.
I don't. That was full of twists. It was full of turns, and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I mostly just wanted Sammy to say weird things in a Grenda voice.
I think my ears are gonna remember it forever.
Everyone, I would just like to throw this out very quickly. My voice is Swiss cheese.
I'm sorry about that.
So yeah, that was FanFriction, our first episode. Like I said, we're going to have it up on YouTube as well as every other, podcasting medium, like Spotify, iTunes, that kind of thing. And we're also going to release a companion video to this where we look at all the fan art and discuss that. And you guys should check it out. All right, thank you guys.
Some outro music, everybody.
I'm gonna edit it in.
Outro.
All right, Sammy's.
Goodbye.
We have to organically have the outro.
Goodbye.
Okay.
All right, everyone.
All right, we'll
for
see you guys.
doing
Thank you.
it.
mind, I designed this rhyme to explain in due time. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Watch it count down to the end of the